Hi, and welcome to
Coffee, glasses, and a ponytail. Right.
Hi.
Welcome to the semi-annual next episode of Coffee, Glasses, and Ponytail. Still talking about Steelheart.
Yeah.
We are going to do about the next 2/3 of the book. Not sure how long it'll be. It'll go fairly quickly, I would think. There's not a lot going on until probably the last 5 or 6 chapters of the book.
Yeah.
It's all kind of planning and all that kind of stuff. So chapter 17. I'm not even sure where we left off.
15.
Oh, 15?
Yeah.
Oh. Yes, we did chapter 15 last time. Chapter 16
Yeah.
this time. Okay,
That's
chapter 16. They're in Diamond Shop. Mm-hmm. They're going to go find batteries, right? For the no.
Weird gun thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or do they get the gun thing here and then they're trying to find batteries?
They
already have the gun.
Finding batteries. Yeah.
Okay. So they go in to try to get information from the shop owner too. Kind of decide, I think, who he sells to.
Oh, yeah.
But because he's like, well, I can't tell you that information because then if somebody else asks me, I would have to tell them about you. And if you ask me, I have to tell them about them. So it just makes sense. I mean, you know. So yeah, they're going to get information. At some point, David gets called a nerd by, I think, Meg probably.
Oh.
Because he knows a bunch of
all
statistics about guns and what goes in what and where. And so what's the difference between a nerd and a geek?
Nerds are with numbers.
And geeks are media.
Yeah, like
Or
electronics. Or like, yeah.
yeah, I think that's the best definition I heard that way. I heard it from Caleb, my nephew, your cousin. And to me that makes a lot of sense. A geek is like techie stuff, and a nerd is like numbers. So that makes sense. So I wouldn't like being called a nerd either. A geek is okay.
So would a hardcore Dungeons and Dragons player be called like a nerd or a geek? Would it be a nerd, right?
I think it would be a nerd because it's about
it's on paper and
it's numbers, writing things down, and the glasses with the piece of tape holding together in the middle.
That's Harry Potter. You just made fun of an entire nationality. Harry Potter people.
That's okay.
Wow.
That's okay. I can live with that.
Feel free to sue him.
I've been both. I've been a nerd and a geek. Geek's better. I was kind of a nerd in high school.
You are
I'm not
a geek.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, okay.
I can deal with that. Yeah, I don't mind geek. So they buy the gun, and then there's exploding pen. Remember, Dave finds the exploding pen somewhere.
Oh yeah.
In the shop or whatever. And so I don't know, does he steal it or does because I don't think they know about it, so I don't think he pays for it. I think he just takes it.
Yeah.
Did you think?
Life lessons.
Yeah, did you think the gun would be the pin would be used later, or it was just something?
No.
No.
I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that's called Chekhov's gun. So whenever you put something into a story, you expect it to be used later. So it would be annoying if an author cared enough to write that he took out, and you don't use it later. It's like, well, then why did it matter? So everything should have an intentionality to it. So I forget why it's called Chekhov's gun, but that's a specific name for when you insert something into the beginning of a book. It should be used later in the book. Otherwise,
that's cool.
Yeah. So then, chapter 17, Night Wielder shows up, and what's his power?
Can't he make things dark? Or attack you with shadows?
He's the one, I think, that keeps...
Or is he the one that turns invisible, and then you can only see him?
He is invisible, but...
right, he's invisible, but you can only see him with UV
with
light. Which is why it's always dark around him.
Yeah. But, and he keeps the city dark, right?
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me.
Bless you.
Edit that out. Because the city is perpetually dark, and they use the guy. Confluence is the electricity guy, and he keeps the city's power on. So it's always dark because of Night Wielder, and Confluence is the one that keeps electricity. Conflux. He's the one that keeps the electricity on.
Huh.
So then Abraham, is Abraham the one that does all the voices? Like he thinks he's from Ireland. He thinks he's from
Scotland.
Okay, he's the one. So I
like him.
Night Wielder comes into the shop, and they're all kind of freaking out because obviously they're on different sides, and so he uses the tensor gloves to make a little
blast,
like a hole or whatever.
I don't know,
in the shop so they can hide. And that's pretty much it for chapter 17. So then 18, David gets this idea in his head that he's going to go act like he's a helper in the shop. He's going to go, like he's tabulating something and has to ask a question so he can go out and see Night Wielder and kind of, I guess, gain information.
Yeah.
Seems pretty stupid, I must say. I mean,
isn't he
16?
Yeah, he's 16.
I mean, that'd be pretty gutsy to, I mean, you could die if they have no problem killing people for no reason whatsoever.
Yeah.
What's the wall? But then, so there's a forensics kit, which helps you like investigate crime and whatever.
He took a UV light ray from it, like
right.
the thing that.
But who had it, or he just
stole it.
He just stole. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So then, he took the UV light out.
Yeah, and then he shines it on him or something.
Right on Night Wielder.
Yeah, Night Wielder.
And then that. Does he take a? He gets a video of it. How does he get the video of it? Does he say?
Did he get a video?
Well, because he had to show the professor, because I don't think it was just their word. I thought he got a video of it, just a real brief glimpse of it. But maybe I'm thinking of something else. But he realizes that
Are there security cameras in the shop?
And maybe he stole the video from
I don't know. I don't remember that part.
But whatever, when he shines the UV light on it, the black light, the Night Wielder becomes
solid,
a physical being,
yeah.
And he realizes that something happened. He's like looking around, and I mean, you'd think he would know. There's only one new person here, and it's that guy David that just came in.
Yeah, but I don't also know how you would notice if you're like, unless you're staring at yourself. How would you know that part of you turned solid?
Well, I think if you're used to being,
would it just feel weird?
I think it would feel weird because you're used to being like floating around or a non-physical being, and all of a sudden part of you has weight.
Oh.
I mean, maybe. I think he played it off as he was helping the shop owner do inventory and was like looking at the different things inside the kit and happened to turn it on. It's like I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
So evidently he played it off pretty well because he didn't die.
Yeah.
Yes. There was a video, but I forget. And chapter 19 basically is just like them explaining that there was a video. It was like 2-page long chapter. It's pretty short.
Oh yeah, I like those chapters.
Yeah.
So it just like gives you a little bit of
information. Yeah. So they're back at the hideout, chapter 20. And at the time of reading, I know at the end it explains the why. But did you think it was weird that the professor never used any of the technology?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't get that until then.
Yeah. I mean, I thought it was maybe. I didn't think of the reasons why. I just thought it was weird that maybe he was just afraid of technology, or because he used the chalkboard instead of like a TV screen to write things on. So just maybe he just didn't like technology, or I don't know, or he didn't want to see what he created be used. So I don't know, but I did think it was weird that he didn't ever use any of it. It does get explained later on, though, and I mean it's a pretty good reason.
Yeah.
And then I did think it was weird that the professor tells David that his plan is too small when David is the one with the idea to kill Steelheart, and not just all the small epics.
Yeah, I thought that was really stupid. I was like, what are you trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
Eventually, you're gonna get rid of like all the small epics, and then there won't be it'll just be the big ones. So, like, what are you supposed to do then?
Yeah.
Because you were too scared to do it, to kill off the big ones in the first place. So, like, what are you going to do now?
Yeah. It didn't make a whole lot of sense that you would just want to kill the small, especially if you're concerned about. I mean, he did explain the why is then there would be a power vacuum and something has to fill a vacuum, and so the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know. So you kind of know what you're dealing with Steelheart.
But if he's the most powerful, then there's nothing that could be like worse.
Right. If you could take him out, why couldn't you take everybody else out?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I did think it was odd that he was kind of making fun of David, that, you know, your ideas are small, but you're the one just wanting to kill and then go to different towns. You want to kill one here and then go to a different town and do something somewhere else. So I thought that was a little odd. And then did you notice that Megan never used the gloves? Mm-hmm. Okay, I didn't.
Yeah, because she just said that she couldn't.
Yeah. And did you realize, like with the professor, did you think there was something else going on there, or
could he use them? I forgot.
He could, but there's a reason why he doesn't.
Oh right.
And so the same with. Oh no, they both.
I thought they
both couldn't, and that would give away why they couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And then chapter 21, David and Meg are going to the electric company because the plan is to go there. David convinces the professor they need to capture Confluence, right? Is that his name?
We're gonna kidnap Conflux.
Yes, they're going to kidnap Conflux to use as a hostage, or so that they could lure Steelheart. Right? Yeah, as bait.
Yeah.
So the plan is to go to the electric company because that's where they think he's at, because that's, you know, he has to, the reinforcement people, the soldiers are all using battery packs to power all of their stuff. So they figure, you know, Conflux is probably there because, you know, the batteries have to get recharged. It's where the main wiring for the city is at. So they're using their tensor things and placing explosives, and they're going up through an elevator shaft, which that seemed not like a good idea. But they're using the tensor gloves to make handholds, right? Handholds, and so they're actually climbing.
Yeah, and then don't 2 guards come or something?
2 guards open. They think they hear something, so the doors open, and the one guard's like, "Do you hear something?" You know.
But they like don't move or anything, and they aren't seen.
Yeah. But Meg explains later on how come they weren't seen really.
Yeah.
So I did think it was funny that I think Abraham, wasn't he the one on the mic with him on the earpiece, and he's telling David to kind of watch where he's looking, you know, because the girl is climbing above him, right?
No, because he's the one making the handholds.
Oh, okay, yeah, but he was, you know, talking about, you know, be careful what you're looking at. Down yeah. So making reference to, you know, the boy checking out the hot girl, and then I'm not one for big internal dialogue bits.
Oh, I'm not either.
But so
I skip most of it.
Yeah. So as I say, what did you think about his thoughts on Meg and how pretty sure it seemed to me like, and maybe it's because he's a 16-year-old, and it made him seem almost childish. But I can see a 15-year-old, you know, thinking, "Oh man, she's so hot," you know. So it was annoying. I didn't think it really needed to be there. You get the idea that he thinks she's pretty all throughout the book, so you didn't really need the, you know. Maybe he thought it'd be funny.
Maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know. I probably skipped over that because I don't like big dialogue sections.
Yeah.
So I probably just skipped it.
I did think it was funny how Abraham was making fun of him, though, for what he was obviously thinking.
Yeah.
You know. So Meg seems annoyed by the influence that Dave has on the team, which it is always weird when you have your circle of, you know, 3, 4, 5, 6 friends, and then you have the new addition. Yeah. So have you ever had, you know, your circle of friends and then somebody else, like?
Yeah.
Is it
It's really weird because it's like you're trying to join two worlds almost.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Is your groups normally pretty inviting or
Yeah.
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 It's just still weird.
I'm not very inviting. I'm not a very nice person.
You don't belong here, but okay.
I just have a hard time accepting new people. I get too comfortable with my circle and I don't like change.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. It's just me. So yeah. Lucky you. You get to know me pretty well.
Okay.
So the elevator door opens. The guards blame the noise on the furnace, and they move along. So maybe they had
really good guards.
A rickety old furnace that made a bunch of noise. I don't know. That seems odd. But David made a hole for them to hide in with the gloves before the guards could see him. But it didn't seem like much of a hole. Yeah, that's what it says. But again, we find out later on it probably wasn't as good a hole as he thought because other, So they go into the room with the power cells and the need for the gun. They find it. I thought it was weird that in a city that seems to be always on the verge of falling apart, things are running, but to have the inside of the electric company seem like a well put together lab, like it just seemed like
out of place.
Yeah, I would expect it to be like maybe barely holding on. You've got the lights kind of just swinging and barely like flickering, but I thought it was too like lab-like, too clean. But that's just me. So, and then did they at some point get heard or seen, and they have to create a diversion, but I don't know if it's because I don't remember if they wanted to get into another room or if they just needed a way to get out quickly and they couldn't climb back down the elevator.
Well, why were they in the power company in the first place?
They were getting the battery. They were discovering they were supposed to steal some batteries, but then David found another room, and they were going through a bunch of information. And I think he ends up planting the pin bomb in there. But after they had taken some paperwork or something, they found a room that had some stuff in it. We'll take that out too. Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I think he was just being the typical, as he is in the book. He's kind of just nosy and snoopy, and so I think he went into a room, and then they stuck around too long and got discovered. Or maybe they ran out of time. I don't remember.
I don't know.
Oh yes, they found some data chips. So they used, because they couldn't go back down the elevator because David led them too far away. They had to use the diversion of the explosions to act like they were just part of everybody else leaving. Oh, there's bombs going off over there. Everybody run this way. And so they ran out with
Oh, is that when they make
everybody
the
else.
Fake? When do they? I don't know. Never mind.
Make what?
I don't know.
So then he leaves. I don't know. He leaves the bomb pin behind, but I wasn't clear. Also,
He does?
Yeah.
I thought he took it with him.
Whether it was like it had mini bombs in it, or if it was just a bomb pin. So anyway, so what they found on the data, like a thumb drive, was a bunch of propaganda about Steelheart, saying how great he was, how wonderful protection he provides for the city, and bragging about how he kills everybody that opposes him. So he's making himself look really big, and I protect you guys, and if you don't like me, I'll kill you.
Sounds like a win-win.
So I have a question here. It says, what do you think about the point Megan makes to the professor about leaving Steelheart alone, because at least things in the city work, and to spend their efforts killing epics whose cities are in shambles? So, I mean, this city, everybody is pretty, lives, while the people in this city are kind of prisoners, at least they're taken care of. Whereas as we see later on in the series, some of these cities are, so what do you think about, leaving well enough alone the city that's kind of okay and getting rid of all of the really bad epics? And there is a logic to it. It makes,
Yeah, it makes sense. But I still feel like it's not going to get any better if you don't do anything about it.
Yeah, and I think it would be really hard, especially for David, to, be like, yeah, okay, I'll let the one who killed my dad live so I can go kill a bunch of other epics. So, I kind of think, well, you start where you're at. You start here, and then maybe word gets out, wow, they killed the most powerful epic, and now they're coming after us. I would think, maybe that would cause a little fear. And I don't remember, did she have an ulterior motive for wanting to go to other cities? Okay.
Yes.
All right. But we don't find out that until this book or later on in the series?
This book.
This book, okay.
I think.
Okay. So, chapter 24, Cody finds bulbs for the UV flashlight in case Night Wielder shows up. So obviously David has told the team about the light that can make Night Wielder visible. And then there's another epic that always travels around with Steelheart, and everybody thinks that Fireflight.
Yeah.
But David thinks that Fireflight is an illusion created by the illusionist epics. Because,
why does he think that?
Because there's never really a clear picture of him. It's always grainy. Whenever he is moving, even slowly, there's no real. It's always a little blurry. It's always a little. You can't get a picture of him anywhere. And he's never off by himself. There's never Fireflight.
Yeah.
Without any of the epics around. And this one epic is always there when he's there. Steelheart's not always there, and Conflux isn't always there, but there's another epic. So they think that Fireflight is just an epic illusion. So he doesn't really have any evidence other than a feeling. And the pictures are always blurry, so it's more of an idea that turns out to be true.
Spoiler alert.
So, and then Tia comes in. She's like the head tech person.
Yeah.
To say that they have found.
She's the mom of the group.
Yes. She's found the bank vault where David's dad was shot, or.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so why do they want to go there? Do you remember?
To find the gun that his dad used to shoot Steelheart.
Because
they think that might be it, because that's the gun that...
like a mystical power or whatever.
Yeah.
Right, okay. So, or they're at least looking through all of the safety deposit box to see if maybe something in those may have weakened him to where the gun could hurt him. So they find a lot of, gold, silver, jewels, cash, which, in this world it doesn't do a lot of good though, does it?
No.
The gold and jewels might. The cash is kind of probably meaningless. They did find David's gun, but it had been turned to well, it was already steel because it was a gun. And then I think either Abe or what's the other guy's name? Cody. One of them took it and said, "Hey, we'll clean it up, and it's your dad's gun. If you want to use it, you can have it back." And then they planned their next move, which instead of capturing Conflux is to kill him and bring down the enforcement. So they want to bring the city into like mayhem, because without Conflux there's no electricity. So then there's just mayhem, and it would show that Steelheart isn't as powerful because he can't keep the lights on now.
Yeah.
And without Conflux reinforcements, their battery packs will run down, and so the guns and armor that they have, and the cars, aren't the cars they use battery powered too, aren't they?
I don't know. I don't remember.
But anyway, their guns and their armor would be dead.
Dead?
Dead, because when the battery runs out, It's dead.
Yeah, but why would armor need to be battery powered?
Well, in like science fiction books, like it's like a button you could turn on that adds an extra amount of shielding through some kind of technology to stop. I don't know.
Imagine if that really
That'd be awesome. Try to hit me. Ow. Battery's dead. Battery's dead. So the problem is finding him because Steelheart moves him around in a car all the time. So he wasn't.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't at the electric plant because he's always being moved. He's always being held somewhere for a day or two, then moved, held somewhere for a day or two. But they get either intel on the convoy or somebody has spotted, and so the plan goes into action. How they're going to kill him. Everybody's kind of taken their positions. And then there's a big thing in the book, and we only got to chapter 27. But there's a lot of things. So David can't make metaphors, evidently. And in the book, they make a big deal about how he can't do it. And it's like, he's clearly very intelligent.
Like a brick made of porridge.
But yeah, so I found it annoying. I just found it hard to believe that somebody clearly intelligent can't understand the concept of how to make a metaphor. But
well, his metaphors actually make sense if you think about them.
Do they?
Some of them, yeah.
Oh. Well, I don't like it. I don't like that part of it.
Maybe you're not smart enough.
Maybe I'm not. Maybe David's smarter than me. Evidently.
I don't know.
So that's pretty much, like I said, these chapters, not really much detail, not really much in-depth really happens. It's kind of the middle part of all books where you kind of, the plans starting to come together. Everything's kind of being set up into motion. And then the next section, things kind of come to their conclusion. So,
yeah.
Any thoughts on anything we missed discussing? Anything we?
I don't think so.
No?
No.
All right. So that's it for that. I think this Christmas, me and Maud are going to start our journey into Stranger Things. Because it's the first season during Christmas time.
Oh.
Yeah, Christmas time.
Cool.
Yeah, season 2 is Halloween. So, yeah. So we'll start that if she wants to. And then, I don't know as far as what reviews we'll do after this. I don't know if we'll do the next couple of books or if we'll do a TV series or maybe just talk about things. Like we had an interesting conversation the other night about book endings, like the best book endings or trilogies or series endings that we'd read. So that might be a fun one to discuss at some point on a podcast. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Other than that, I think that's it for today. Like, subscribe, hit those noties, ring the bell. Right? Ring the bell? Yeah. And until then, see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.